Hi, my name is Qin Xiaojie. I'm a psychotherapist. In my last video talking about the first therapy session, I talked about 3 stages: before you see the therapist, during the therapy session, and after the therapy session. Together, combined would be the first session. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about that 50 or 60-minute session, how it's going to look like. If you are about to begin your first therapy session, your brain must be asking this question repetitively. It's how does the first session look like? Well, I've done many first therapy sessions with clients that had never seen a therapist before, and my experience tells me is that it can be very different. However, there's a framework that I use to guide the conversation that we are going to have in this one unit. In my practice, I do a 15-minute session, a standard session. Some therapists would do a 90-minute session, which is more extended because there's just so much information. I often think 15 minutes is enough, and if we need more time, that we can always continue the first part into the next session. So the first session is about getting to know each other, and that we call it assessment. So I am interested in know what are the current issues that bring you into therapy, how they might have an impact on your mood, on your physical body, how they might have an impact on your interpersonal relationship at work, in your intimate relationship, or with your family member. I'm also interested in knowing a little bit about yourself when you're growing up, just to know whether there are some, we call it big T trauma that geared way into a certain way of thinking, a certain way of behaving. I'm also will be interested in knowing about any coping mechanism that you are using or used to have in dealing with the challenges that you have, including, for some people might be addiction, for others it might be self-harm behaviors. After collecting enough information, we will be moving on to the goal setting step. So forming those goals give us an idea of where all the therapy sessions are going towards. So after establishing the goal, we're all more or less at the end of the session, where I will do 2 other things. One is to have the feedback of the session. The second is to make a suggestion of homework, if you are willing to do some work during the sessions before the next time you see me. Now, after knowing what might be the topics of the first session, you might start to feel a little nervous because there are some information that you're not ready to give to your therapist. That is totally okay. The therapy session is your session. The therapist will be there to support you in monitoring how you're feeling. Nobody's gonna force you to talk about something that you're not ready to talk about. And if you're someone who already have words pouring out of your mouth when you step into the therapy room, just let go, talk about it. If there's some information that's missing, your therapist will ask you. Or if you are someone who doesn't really know where to start, that's totally okay. You have the therapist to ask you a question. So there's really not much that you need to prepare before the therapy session when you're experiencing feeling a little anxious and a little stressed because you're going to see a therapist. Just know that it's a very normal reaction to a unknown situation, especially you're going to talk about something that's so private about you. I do have one suggestion. Your therapist have never met you before, so sometimes it might say some things which are normal to other people but sounds very uncomfortable to you, and those are the things that you need to talk to your therapist about, because in order for therapy to work, you need to have a working relationship that you can trust your therapist and you are able to communicate the discomfort in this process as well. I hope all of this information helps, and if you do have had a therapy session before, I would love to hear about that. So leave a comment down below in the video channel, and I hope I'll see you in our next video.